All right, we are live. Hi, everyone, whether you're watching this now or later. For those of you who might not know me, who are upstairs library residents, I am Casey. I'm the young adult librarian at the BB Library. And we're going to do some crafting today. Let's see here. Okay, I can create a poll. I think I can see comments. Go ahead and comment if you're here and let me know. All right. Seems like, it looks like a few people are watching. Awesome. Hello, folks. As I said, we're going to be doing some crafting today, and we'll do some crafting next Monday, and probably every Monday until we reopen, until things are a little more normal. So we're going to try and I'm going to be trying to focus on crafts that you might have the materials already in your house, or at least for this one. The other ones also are things, at least the ones I've planned, are things you might very well have in your own house, especially if you have kids, but even if you are just even a slight crafter or not. A lot of people, say, for example, have a hot glue gun at home. But I will also let you know at the end of this one and in a post on the Facebook page and in the comments here what you might need for next week, if you want to join in and let you know what we're going to be doing. So today we're going to be doing, we're going to take corks. If you don't have corks, as long as you have paints and paper, you can completely paint whatever you want. Just paint along, take a little breather in the day-to-day, but I'm going to be painting these corks, hopefully to look relatively like people. I am not the best crafter in the world. I like to craft. I'm not the best crafter in the world, so you might see some really special little people. I got the idea from one of Wakefield's residents, Cindy, who is also one of our adult pages at the library. She helps us with all the shelving. And she posted this on her Facebook. It's a project she did with her kids a couple days ago, and she posted a picture of one of hers, and I was like, that is the perfect craft to start with because it involves paint and wine corks, and that is it. But as I said, if you want to paint pictures on your, on a piece of paper, feel free. Watercolors, regular paint, don't care. So I have kind of a little bit of an ad hoc setup here because obviously I'm not made for this, to be doing this at, not really my thing. So I'm going to put things up here as I kind of play with them. I'm not going to necessarily do this many corks, but I grabbed a bunch because I have a bunch because, they're good for crafting, and my roommates and I drink wine. So although some of these are definitely from, my mom sent us a bunch at Christmas for crafting times. So we might be doing more cork crafts. This here is just sitting on top of a box so that you can kind of see it in the screen. But I'm going to be doing most of the painting over here, but I'll hold things up as I go so you guys can kind of see what's what. My shoebox here is where my paints and paintbrushes are. So we do not have a pink paint currently, so I'm going to attempt to mix some red and white, which my roommates have done with great effect to get some nice pinks. So we're going to start with, nope, that's the Mod Podge. Let's find the white. There's my white. And you can, for painting, you can have a fancy thing, or here's just a small paper plate that clearly I've used before for painting. So I'm going to just, it's all dry, so I'm just going to pile some more colors on top of there. So yeah, so we just, do a little bit of, pick a new spot here, do a little bit of my white, a little bit of my red, and mix them up. Because I'm going to make my lovely little craft person. Hello, Stephen. Yes, I hope you and Audrey and Kelvin and everybody are doing well with all of this and keeping busy. We miss seeing you guys too. It's been a very weird week and a half. Not even a full week and a half, and we can't wait to get back, but that's why we're doing stuff like this in hopes that we can keep in contact with you guys in the meantime for things, both fun things and serious things. I have not added nearly enough red to that. You can see it's not, my light's not the best here, but you can see my mostly white pink there in the middle. So I'm going to add some more red to that so that I have enough, so it actually melds. But let's see how this goes. Oh, you know what? I did forget one thing, and I should go grab that in a second here. I forgot there we go. That's a halfway decent pink. Probably needs a little bit more white now that I have way too much. I forgot a cup in which to be able to rinse my paintbrushes off. So I'll have to go grab that in a second here. And so that I can go from pink to other colors without just using every single paintbrush that we own, which we do own a fair amount, but not a ridiculously large amount. So I'm going to start here. You know what? I think I'm going to choose one of these guys because they're a little hardier. I'm going to start with my little Pathline here. I'm going to just do cork people. I'm going to do a cork person first. But you don't have to do a person. You can decorate the cork in any way. You can also, I suspect, if you don't have paints, if you have Sharpies, this would also be something that would work really well for, you know, you could also color on your corks with Sharpies. So there's my little face. It's not particularly round because I don't really care because I'm going to paint around with other colors to add hair and stuff. It's very pink, which, I mean, people aren't that pink unless you're sunburned, but we'll have a little sunburned friend. So give me just a second to go grab some water in a cup. My cups were right here. There we go. I'll be right back. All right, so now I have my cup of water to be able to clean off my brush. The bird is also making herself known. We have a pet conure in the apartment, and she's in the room with me, and she's been very excited about all this video chatting that we've been doing in the last week that I've been doing, and likes to be included. And now that she's in the room, she's very excited because she really feels like she is contributing to this situation. So yes, enjoy the bird. We may or may not get a drive-by of the dog in the household. She is currently upstairs. Last I checked, she was begging for food from the roommate who is working from home upstairs. So we'll see if she decides I'm more interesting than food, which is honestly unlikely. So let's see. Let's go with, well, that's dry. Well, my pink is drying. Let's do a little bit of, let's do some clothing for my little friend here, before I do hair and smear my pink. So I think I'm just gonna go real simple because, again, I am not the most amazing crafter in the world. And if I try and get too complicated, it's gonna look like just a blob. So we're gonna go with, I think I'll just go with a nice simple purple. And these paints that we have are all from Michael's. So again, like if you don't have some of this stuff now, a lot of the places, I know as of tomorrow, a lot of places like Michael's will be closed to the public, but their online stores, as far as I know, will still be operating. So you can always order stuff from the, online. They've been having some really good online deals, and they'll come, by like next week, because next week there'll be some painting involved too, as a base layer on the thing we're doing, but less painting than this week. So yeah, I'm gonna take my little cork person here, and we're gonna do some painting. I'm gonna give them a purple shirt. And by shirt, I mean I'm just painting this purple. Now, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, how well that comes out with my lighting. Because again, I'm just using overhead lighting. I'll try and find better lighting for next week. The pink here has is a much more solid pink than the purple, and that is something you might encounter as you're doing it. And honestly, just an extra layer of the purple should do it generally. But you might need to let it dry and do an actual legitimate second layer as well. I'm not planning on making my little person come out perfect today, so I won't, and I don't want to keep you here too long, so I'm not going to do a second layer, but we're just going to get a first layer on here, because again, we can always touch it up later, and what I'll do is I will touch my little person up in the meantime, in the week in between, before I come back to do my next craft, and I will show off the complete finished little craft cork person next week. And you guys can all judge me on my adequate crafting skills, and I won't be offended because I am content with what my crafting skills are. I find it very soothing. Even as a librarian right now, I have not been reading much. It's not something, unless I really find the right book, which I did find a book that has been sucking me in, but unless I find the right book, nothing's sucking me in right now. So I found that crafting, video gaming, Disney Plus has been a real game changer. Just being able to watch stuff. And also I've done some rereading, which I don't do much anymore. I used to do a lot of when I was younger, and now I just find I don't have the time. There's so much good stuff that I want to read. But I went back to one of my favorite series that I have copies of here. I went back to one of my favorite series when this was all starting to break, and I reread the entire series. It's a chapter book, like later chapter book series that I've read a million times. But I went back and reread it because sometimes that's just what you need right now. But yeah, crafting is good. So yeah, now you see with the shirt, as you can see, I did all the way around. Because yeah, corks are 3D, so you gotta go all the way around. I didn't for the face, for obvious reasons, because you only really have the face in the front. I probably should have extended it a little bit, but there's gonna be hair. So now they have a purple shirt. I'm gonna let that dry. My pink is almost dry there, so I think I'm gonna do pants, which I think I'm just gonna do a jean blue. So I think I have a darker blue here. I don't have a dark blue, but I have bright blue or Mediterranean blue. So we're gonna go with Mediterranean blue, which I think is the darker of the two, if I remember correctly. No, hold on. Let's see here. Yeah, they're fairly similar. We'll go with some bright blue for the jeans then, in that case. So we're gonna do a little bit of the bright blue. Hi, Afra. Just a smidge of bright blue for pants here. And then I think my pink will be dry enough that I can add some face, and I can start adding hair. I'm going to go with a kind of a traditional coloring just for this one, in that, it's going to be things like, even though I make them look like a lot, I make it look like they're basically really, really pink, which obviously is not a great skin tone for anybody. But I'm going to go a little more traditional coloring, or at least attempt, or as close as I can get from my little cork person. But, you can make your cork person, have a purple face, have orange hair, have, there's no right or wrong answers with your cork people. And here I am working on my blue. So you can also, depend on how realistic or not you want your cork person to look, again. You can just layer it like that, and there's your pants and your shirt. When those dry, you could put a little black line through here to show, legs. I was actually going to try and do some outlining in black once this dries, to kind of show, an arm along here, a line for the legs, arm on the other side. But we'll see how that goes. We'll see how much time we have. So let's see. My water is turning a very nice light purple color from all of my blues and purples and pinks. Dry my brush off. All right, now let's see. So for the face, I think we're gonna give them. Let's give them. No, green might be a little creepy. We'll give them we'll go with just brown for. Here's my brown. We'll go for brown for eyes and a little black for. I mean, I know lips are supposed to be, you know, more of a pinkish color. But since my little cork person already is very pink, we're gonna go for probably a little bit more of like a black lip outline. And probably just, you know, your traditional smiley face versus like trying to do anything super realistic. Because again, they're not very big. And unless you're really, brace myself here, unless you're a really good painter, it just might not be your thing. Ooh, thanks people for liking it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Feel free to add a comment. I will respond. Probably not typing because of my setup. I can't really reach my keyboard without sticking my elbow in paint, but I will definitely verbally respond to whatever comments you want to leave. And also, if you have any craft ideas or anything specific that you'd like to see, any sort of particular medium or anything, I can't guarantee stuff, but we are a pretty decently well-stocked craft, and I can always probably get some basic supplies, as I was saying, through like Michael's Online, technically Amazon, although they're actually a lot delayed right now, so they might not be the best option, but I can try Michael's or something else. So let me know if there's anything you'd like to see, or if there's a particular supply, like, oh, I have a ton of, I don't even know what, but for me, it was I have a ton of corks. For next week's project, it's I have a ton of bottle caps. So there's my very crooked little smiley face. I'm also not necessarily, I'm using the same brush for all of these things, which is also not really what you should be doing. But I'm lazy, and for time's sake and not having to spear through our million piles of brushes, I have tried not to. So not to make it too complicated. We're trying to keep it simple here. So yeah, so now he has a little, or she, I guess, we'll go with she. She has a little face. I don't know why I just couldn't figure out where my camera was. So the purple and the blue are still drying, but I think I'm going to do my hair. We're going to go with, I do have some brown already out, but let's go like super blonde. Let's go with some nice yellow hair. So again, these are all just basic Michael's paints, the little acrylics, the Craft Smart brand for the most part. They're honestly the cheaper ones, but they're good quality. So that's all we have. Actually, most of our brushes, I think except for one pack, all of our brushes have been Target bought at Target. So am I missing? I feel like I'm missing comments here. Let's see. I think I am missing comments. Look at that. Yeah, Christy, the plant does need water. It needs hey Stephanie. Okay, there we go. Now it's showing me comments. It wasn't scrolling down. But yes, the plant does need water. We're doing our best. Unfortunately, we get really good sun in the house, but we do not get, underneath all of our windowsills is, the heat vents. We have radiator heat, and that particular plant does not like the radiator heat. So we're trying to balance getting it enough sun and also not killing it with heat. I'm glad that I'm not glad that the bird's flipping out Raven, but that doesn't super surprise me. It's not the first dog that she's upset with her noises. As you can see, maybe my choice of yellow wasn't probably the best choice because you can still see a lot of the designs underneath, but this would be one that would be a really good one to do a double layer on, so once it dries, add a second coat. I am going to do the top as well, which is gonna, actually I'm not gonna do the top for now because it makes it easier to grip it if I don't do the top, and no one's, I mean, you can't see unless I tip it that way, so I'll do the top later when the rest of it's dried and I can grab it from the bottom. The blue, interestingly, has dried much quicker than the purple has, even though the purple went on first. So there's my little blonde person. So we're gonna put her, again, my fingers are, you can see my fingers are starting to get nice, and webcam's not really where I think it should be on this computer, which is part of my problem. You can see I'm starting to get the classic colored that you often get when painting, especially painting small things, which not really a problem. So yeah, so here we have, so let's see. So we've got that. Let me do, I have a little black. Let me get a better brush. Let's go with this tiny little brush here. I think he's going to be a better one. So now I've gotten them. So this is the brush I have now. This is the size of the brush I was working with before. You can see the size difference here. So I'm going to go for a much smaller brush because what I'm going to try and do, as I said earlier, is I'm going to try and add some black lines to kind of define, because right now what this reminds me most of is, for those of you who have had kids or have kids currently, they look like a little person, you know, from like the little person, you know, like little person planes and stuff. Looks like one of the original Little People from like when I was little. You know, no arms, no real form, just a person blob. So we're going to try and make her look a little more three-dimensional by giving her arms and trying to split her legs. So let's see how this works. So if I take my brush and a little bit of my black, I'm just going to do a line down the, it's probably a little thicker than I should have gone. Also, the other problem is that my camera's reversed for me, even though it's not for you. So that's also throwing me off. I'll get better at this, I'm sure. So there's a little line for her legs. And then we're going to try and do a thinner line for some arms. So let's see, maybe this isn't the best brush. Let's see if I can find a... I just need... Not here, too. Well, maybe it's still the brush we have. So these are just very soft tip brushes. How about you, friend? Maybe this guy. Yeah, this guy looks like he's a little bit better because you can see it's got the angle to it, so I can probably just use the tip and really just go with the tip. Oh, I see there's been some more comments. Hold, please. Hi, Christine. Yep, not crafting craft properly unless I get messy. Oh, I could totally do a bottle cap hat next week. That is a brilliant idea, Karen. So yeah, next week I will add, next week I'm going to have the hot glue gun out. So I will maybe hot glue gun a little hat on for her. I can paint one for her and add it. So let's see how we go with arms, and then we'll show her off and we'll be done for the day. Thank you, Afra. So if I do... Let's see here. It's one arm. Let's try the other arm, and then I will show them off. So I'm trying to use just the very tip so that it doesn't get really dark like the legs did. And it's still a little damp, so it's not great. That's not bad. Not half bad if I do say so myself. So there we have, there's the little leg, and then we have a little arm there and a little arm there. What you can definitely do, because again, my paint's not totally dry, but I don't want to wait for it to dry, and you know, just you know, spend a lot of time sitting here talking at you. Is that once it dries, you could add like a little hand. You know, you could use the same paint, which I have a ton of, for like a little hand. Again, not something I could probably do with the brushes we have on hand particularly well. I could add probably like a circle for a hand. Again, like a little person. But at least it gives her a little definition. Again, this way. With arms and the break between the legs. I mean, you could add like little, like I could add really, do I have, no, hold on. Let me do a tiny bit of just red on its own versus my giant pile of pink here. I feel like I now should go paint something pink to use up all this pink paint that I have created. But I could also do like a little bit, just a little, if I do a little dab on each cheek, I have little, now she has little rosy cheeks, you can see. So yeah, I mean, it's that simple. If you have corks around and some paint, as I said, you can make them as realistic or as not realistic as you want. It's one that kids can do, adults can do, as long as you have the dexterity to hold a paintbrush and hold a cork, you can do it. So yeah, so definitely, fun little craft. And again, thanks to our page Cindy, who I think, or at least was watching, because I stole it off her Facebook feed. Hers looked better, just saying. But so yeah, cute little thing. So then, yeah, and as I said, I'll show you guys real quick before I wrap this up. I need to do another layer of, the purple ended up not too bad, but I really should do another layer of the yellow because you can see through it. One of the things you can do to prevent a lot of that kind of see-through stuff is if you take, if you take your cork, here's one of my other corks, from the very beginning and paint the whole thing white, because white's usually very thick, white paints. You paint the whole thing white, and I can demonstrate a little bit. I had the white out. Yeah, here we go. If you paint the whole thing white to start with and let it dry, a lot of the issue like that I had with the yellow you won't have, because as you can see, let me just paint over this part that has a bunch of stuff on it. You can already see with the white has eliminated most of what you could see, because that's what it looks like. My paintbrush is going rogue here. This is what it looks like before paint. This is what it looks like after paint. So if you do a layer of white and then paint your person on top of that, that will eliminate a lot of your need for a second layer, which is nice. Yeah, as Lynn's saying, you could totally make animal corks. I am probably not skilled enough to freehand one of those off the top of my head, like I could freehand my little person, but you could print out or just pull up on your computer, which I obviously can't do because I have the screen up. You could pull up some base pictures. I mean, certainly like a pig would be really easy. You paint the whole thing pink, which actually in this case my pink would be the perfect pink. And then you just use the black to kind of add highlights, the curly tail in the back, the round nose with the 2 dots, and just kind of the traditional like pink pig stuff. And then if you have construction paper, or you could print out stuff to add for like little ears. You could also just do the ears in the same way I did the hands here. Just outline them in the black kind of off to the side, heading off to the, or not the ears, the arms. Off to the side, do the little ears. So you wouldn't even have to print something if you don't have a printer. So yeah, so that's it. And as I said, the little hack, if you need to, as you can see, as it's drying, it's getting a little more clear, but it's basically acting as like a primer. Like if you're painting your house and you're putting a primer on, the white can basically act as a primer if you need to. And then you can paint from there and it'll just be one layer and the white won't show up, or destroy your art in any way. So that's our little paint people. I'm gonna try and keep this to half an hour, and I'm getting pretty close. So yeah, those are your little paint people. You can do animals. You could just like a lighthouse. Like if you wanted to get really clever, you could just do it like the striped kind of layer of a lighthouse. I mean, you can get really clever with these. This is just a very basic, simple, give you an idea of what you could possibly do. So next week, we're going to do bottle cap pins. You could also do them as bottle cap magnets if you had magnets. But basically what I'm going to do is take a bottle cap, which I have some handy. You're going to take a bottle cap and what we're going to do is we're going to paint it. And what I'll do with this one is since I don't want to have to wait for things to dry, I will do it a couple steps at a time as we go, but I'll like pull out one and be like, here's a regular one, here, let me paint it. Oh, here's the dry one, let's go from there. And so you can paint it, and what you can do is you can kind of do one of two things at that point. We'll talk about it more, but basically the things that you might need for next week if you want to play along is bottle cap, hot glue gun, or some sort of heavy duty like glue, either a magnet or a safety pin for either your to safety pin it or to magnet on your fridge, paints, paintbrushes. If you have Mod Podge, if you have the ability to print stuff out, I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can make them cute and fun. So that's what we're going to do next week, and I hope you guys will tune in again. Let me know if there's any questions. We've got a little bit of time left. And yes, also I can make a hat. She can have a hat. Auntie stylish hat that won't say Angry Orchard on it next time because I'll paint it. So yeah, and feel free to add in comments later if you're not watching this live, but you watch it at a later point. And if you decide to make a little paint person or animal, please tag us in your Facebook or Instagram. We're BB Library on Instagram. We are obviously the Lucius BB Memorial Library here. And yeah, let us know that you're having fun with some of our craft projects. And as I said, I'll be back every Monday till we'll reopen. So join me again next week at 2 p.m. for craft time. Thanks, guys.